1 to 4 family contract, paragraph 16, mediation. What this paragraph stipulates is that in the state of Texas, if the buyer and seller are at odds with one another and they can't come to an agreement, the state of Texas encourages them to go through mediation rather than going through and suing each other. So they sit down with a third party to discuss the issue. Okay. This is going to save them both money. It'll save the court's time. So mediation is often a way where we have, by that time, cooler heads have prevailed. They're sitting there. They can have a discussion with the mediator that asks questions, gains clarity, and hopefully resolve the issue. Now, this typically doesn't happen because the buyer agent and the seller agent, part of your job is to explain and kind of mediate the situation. Of course, you have your fiduciary duties to your client, but nobody wants to go to court. Okay. Oftentimes, if you're nice, if you be careful on apologizing, but if you apologize if something goes wrong, take ownership, you can avoid this. But what this states is that the state of Texas encourages mediation rather than court. But the other thing on here is if one of the parties wants to go to court, they certainly can from the courts. It's not saying that they have to do mediation. So when you're explaining this to a buyer or a seller, it's, if you ever get sideways with each other, you the buyer get sideways with the seller, we'll probably never come to that because we'll talk through it, we'll gain clarity on it, and we'll probably come to some sort of conclusion. But if not, the state wants you to sit down with the mediator and go through it. However, if it ever gets bad, you can always go to the courts to seek relief. Okay. And again, we're going to explain this, how I explain this to a buyer in another video, or seller. All right.